Omani lifestyle is like very simple. Every day you meet different people and you know different culture. When we meet any person, we should say hello and welcome in our house like that.
In February this year, we had the chance to travel through the north of Oman. During our travels, we always talk to many different locals and try to learn as much as possible. In this film, we want to show you the country and its culture through our eyes, combined with the encounters we made. Oman is a very peaceful country that has to offer many beautiful places: desert, mountains, beaches, wadis, old villages, and a very traditional culture. After one day in Muscat, we started our road trip through the north of Oman. Straight away we experienced how generous and open Omani people are. We were driving to the mountains, and on the way we wanted to take a quick break at the Wadi Al Hokain. That's where we met 3 young Omani guys who wanted to show us around. They brought us to their favorite spot at the Wadi, and we spent the whole day together. As friendly as Omanis are, they also invited us for dinner and offered us a place to sleep. Their handmade presents stayed with us for the whole trip. People really want you to feel at home, and they also invite you into their home. We experienced this many times, also with our dear friend Umaima and her family.
Omani people is very friendly, and they love also to know the culture of others. They respect. They are not looking like you are not Omani, so we are not going to help you. No, they will do. Even if you don't know the languages, they trying by the hand explaining. So they don't want to leave their guests until they did their work.
At nightfall, we reached the mountains entry and we camped somewhere close by. Side fact, in Oman, you can basically put up your tent everywhere you want. The next morning, we started our journey into the mountains. The mountains are not only fun to drive through, they are simply beautiful in their own way. You can see more goats than people, also many wadis, and they just give you the feeling of freedom. All over the mountains you can find old villages. The simple and traditional lifestyle of Omanis is visible anywhere you go.
The world is developing, but the culture of Oman is fixed. It's not changing anymore. But I love it, yeah.
So in Oman, people are really holding on to their culture. Sometimes it makes you feel like the time stands still, the history remains, and this makes many places very special. Like for example our next destination, the city Niswa. The souk culture in Oman, so the traditional market culture, is unique and it has a very long history. For me, as a foreigner, the meat market seems like pure chaos. But if you watch closely, it just follows its own structure. Niswa, we met the shop owner Ibrahim and his brother Mustafa. They explained that it's very important to them to keep their family business alive.
The most important thing to us, all families together, all like in one hand.
So in Oman, family means everything, and Omanis really care about keeping the traditions alive. But there's one thing which is even more important: religion. Islam is deeply anchored in the Omani culture. As a traveler, you can really feel this importance of the religion. The beautiful mosques everywhere, the traditional clothing, and also, of course, the prayers. When all the shops suddenly close, followed by empty streets and the sound of adhan, you know it's praying time.
I want a man who believes in a God first and then me.
In Oman, religion plays an important role in everyone's life. In total, we spent 3 days and nights in the mountain regions. Now it was time for us to start driving to the desert. Along the way, we saw, of course, heaps of goats again, even more camels, and also many ruins. In Oman, you can find old ruins everywhere across the country. It's just impressive to see how much of the past remained after all these centuries. Looking for a camp spot, we met 2 other travelers who then spent the evening with us at the campfire. Arriving in the desert without a plan, we were lucky enough to meet Said. He comes from a family with a Bedouin background. Bedouins are the Arabic-speaking nomads of the Middle Eastern deserts. Said and his family are no nomads anymore, but he still lives most of the time in the desert. He grew up here and it's his home. Said usually has guests here all the time, so we were really lucky to meet him on a free day. Proudly, he showed us his beautiful and endless home, the desert. After driving through the desert, we met Said's friend. We all enjoyed the beautiful sunset, shared some stories, and spent the time together until the sun was gone. We woke up to a stunning view. After watching the sunrise, we continued our desert journey. We spontaneously visited a Bedouin family. We actually only wanted to have a quick look at their camels, and suddenly we were invited for coffee and dates. And then, out of nowhere, I got to experience a very special beauty tradition: kahal. This rough beauty tradition makes your eyes more open, and it is still very common in Oman. After leaving the desert, Said wanted to bring us closer to the camel culture in Oman. He took us to his friend's place, a camel station. Camels have always played an important role in Omani culture. For nomads, camels have always been essential for their way of living. And today, they are still highly esteemed, not only as livestock and desert companions, but also for the camel races, which really is a big thing in Oman. After being in the desert regions, it was time for us to head back to Muscat. We spent 3 days driving up the east coast, trying to see as many spots along the way as possible. After spending 2 days in the desert, it was a total relief to jump into the ocean again. Once again, we really appreciated the fact that we can camp everywhere we like. All in one, Oman is a beautiful country that has a very diverse nature. Oman is a perfect spot for traveling, not only because of its natural beauty, but also because it gives you the freedom you need. What makes Oman so unique is also the culture, which is simple, traditional, and extraordinary in its own way. But what impressed us the most were the people. Omanis are open, they are curious about foreigners and welcome everyone as a friend. You are spoiled with coffee and dates everywhere you go. And we are very thankful for all the people we met along our way.